Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. Hello and welcome to I Am the Change. I am Michelle Kelly. I started this in 2019 as my New Year's resolution, stating out loud that I was breaking up with fear, I was breaking up with shame, and I was breaking up with guilt, followed by a weekly video for the entire year. And I'm over 4.5 years of doing these videos. I haven't missed a week. 1 week I did a rerun, but I haven't missed any. And this year I've had other New Year's resolutions in between. So I'm also on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So you can go back and look and check those out. But my most recent New Year's resolution was not to weigh myself every single day on the scale. I am a recovering food addict. I'm a recovering adult child of a dysfunctional family, and I am a recovering alcoholic. So I also quit smoking, came out of workaholism and codependency. So you guys, I do some serious work on myself and have been doing it on myself. And I didn't want to do this video today. I don't feel good. It's been an entire month of, I had my 4th neck surgery in January, only 4. And a little over a month ago, I started like on July the 1st with some pain, but by July the 3rd, I knew what it was. It was my neck pain coming back, and I felt so good for 5 months, and then something happened and I didn't do anything different. So anyway, I've been in this constant chronic pain, which I normally am in, but this is like 10 times worse than it's ever been. I'm as bad as I was before I had my first initial neck surgery. I could not even stand up, and I went to work like that, and I don't even know how I was able to do it, except for that I was numb and I didn't know that I could like rest and take care of myself, because I was at a point in my life where you just suck it up and keep going, and that's what I was doing. And I was that way for 66 days before I was able to have surgery and get fixed. And then this last surgery, I had pain. Like I felt like I was as bad as I was before I had like the first surgery. And now I feel like I did before my first one and my 4th one combined together. So I know I look rough. I look tired because I'm exhausted. Today I had a medial branch block, which I thought I was having a facet injection, which I don't know the difference, but they did a medial branch block in my neck, and I'm getting an EMG next week, and I keep calling places and asking them if anybody cancels to please get me in, because I cannot live like this any longer. I am in so much pain all day long. And I take pain medicine around the clock, which I hate doing, especially because I'm in recovery, but it's just what I have to do to survive right now. I want to share with you guys, last week I was talking about an exception to the rule. And usually that has been the case with me for a lot of things. My stuff doesn't show up on x-rays and MRIs and CAT scans like everybody else. My stuff it never shows up the way everybody else's does. I've always been the exception to the rule. And I want to share with you guys a couple of things. First of all, I returned a car that was unreturnable. I even signed a piece of paper that said you couldn't return it, and I was able to return it thanks to a really good friend who knew how to stand up for herself when I couldn't. I got out of a lease for an apartment, which everybody told me I'll never get out of that lease, and I was able to get out of that lease. And then I had somebody on a copyright that shouldn't have been on the copyright, and everybody told me you can never get a person off a copyright. Guess what? Yes, you can, because I was able to do that. And it was all from the help of my friend who could stand up for herself. And I used to, when somebody told me no, I would just be like, okay, like that's it. So this week I had a new hot water heater put in, which is so exciting. Just kidding. Who wants to spend their money on that? But I needed to get one. Mine was so old. It was going to go any day. So I got that put in on Tuesday, and my walls and my woodwork were damaged during the process of putting this in, and it's on the second floor. So there were two guys here that day. One guy was here for a little bit by himself, and then another guy showed up and helped him. And after the first guy left, well, before he was leaving, he went to the truck, and I went and came and looked, and I saw like all these marks on my wall that I've never seen before that weren't there. And you guys, I have OCD. I notice every single thing all the time. I respect myself and I respect my property. And the guy came in, and I said, I saw some marks on my walls. And he goes, I don't want to call you a liar. He said, I didn't do them. And then I said, well, can I have your boss's number? He said, well, I'm going to call my boss. So he calls his boss, and his boss is like, give her $50 off. And you guys, it's way more than $50 worth of damage. So I said, no. So I paid the amount on my credit card, and then I text messaged his boss and let him know that my walls, and actually I was finding more spots after because I went around and took pictures, and then some of my woodwork was chipped. And so anyway, the guy said, our boss is coming back, the owner's coming back from vacation tomorrow, so he'll give you a call. And I'm like, okay. So then I noticed that my air conditioning cord and my gas thing from the hot water heater were wrapped around each other. So I called in the morning to let them know that it needed to be fixed. They needed to be two separate entities because that's how they were. So they called up and said the one guy would come out and do it. And I'm like, thank you. And then I got a call from his boss and said, the owner's here. Can we come over in 10 minutes? I'm like, sure. So the guy comes in the door, and I make everybody take their shoes off when they come into my house because I'm funny about my carpets. So anyway, the boss comes in, the owner, and the first thing he says to me, the first mark I show him, he said, we're not responsible for any of this. We're not taking responsibility for any of this. And then I started to feel like stupid for pointing it out. I guess it's not as bad as maybe it's been in other people's house. It's not as obvious as most people would be, but I'm not most people. I notice stuff. It's my house. And I don't notice it in your house, but I notice it in my house, and it wasn't there before they got there. So he said, we're not taking responsibility for it. And the boss said, we didn't do it. It was here when we got here. You were saying that your steps were hard to get. I said, my house was painted after the fact of the moving in of the furniture. So anyway, then the one guy offered, he goes, well, I'll come back and paint it. I said, why would you offer to paint it if you didn't do it? And why would you want to come back and paint it if you didn't do it? I don't want somebody in my house painting it that didn't do it or doesn't want to do it. So the boss kept saying, well, it's not our responsibility. It was like this was like this before. He was never in my house before, so he doesn't know. And the other guy who was saying we didn't do this, he was only in my house for half the time, so he doesn't know. But I felt like I was being gaslighted. And then I just started to cry because I'm in so much physical pain all the time. And then this on top of it, starting to make me feel like I'm crazy and making me start to doubt and second guess myself. And my intuition is spot on, and I trust myself. And I called my girlfriend. She goes, don't let them do that to you. So what I decided to do is I called my credit card company and I put it in dispute. And I never knew this years ago, that you can call your credit card company and put things in dispute when things aren't right for you. It's like you have your own law team sticking up for you. And I just saw this on How to Live Your Rich Life. I think that's it on Netflix. I hope I'm saying the title right, but they say your credit card is your best protection. And if you have a computer or a cell phone and you get it wet, or you do something wrong to it, it's your fault. If you paid for it with your credit card company will write you a check for it. I was like, oh my God, I never knew this. But I learned about putting things in dispute years ago. So I learned that no, from somebody who was trying to be like a bully and say, we're not taking any responsibility for that. It's okay that you don't want to do that. I still have a choice to go further, and I was able to do that. And I used to not be able to do this stuff. I used to find somebody else to do it for me, or not do it at all because I was afraid. And I told you guys, I broke up with fear, I broke up with shame, and I broke up with guilt. And even though I broke up with it and it didn't break up with me, I keep realizing what other people think of me is none of my business. I don't care if they don't like me. My house is damaged as a result, and I didn't do it. They did it, and I'm not responsible for it either. So I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Please stay safe, stay tuned, and I will see you all next week. And P.S. I still can't line dance yet, and it's killing me. All right. See you next week.